Hi friends, how are you all? Welcome back to Soulful Knowledge. So in my channel I'm posting regarding Kundalini awakening and spiritual awakening. So if you're interested in this, you can follow my channel. Plus I'm making in two languages, in Tamil as well as in English. So if you wanted to check only in English version, you can check my playlist. So in my last video, I spoke details regarding so many people in spiritual awakening are converting into vegetarian. So they would have been non-vegetarian in their life and they have converted into vegetarian. So is it necessary to convert into vegetarianism? So during Kundalini meditation, can we eat non-veg or it is necessary to become vegetarian? So all these queries and I am given the clarification regarding these doubts in my previous video. You can check that. I'll give the link in my description. So today I'm going to tell like people have converted from non-vegetarian, they have converted into vegetarian. So even I am converted from non-veg to vegetarian after spiritual awakening. So while converting into vegetarianism, so we face so much of difficulties in our life. So everyone throughout the world, like many of them who are awakening, who are converting from non-veg to vegetarian, are facing so much of difficulty to actually adapt to the vegetarianism, to accept the changes and actually to adjust with that vegetarianism. So today I'm going to give the clarification that what and all the difficulties we are facing and personally how I overcame the difficulties. Even I am converted from non-veg to vegetarianism. Even I faced so much of difficulties in my life. So how I personally overcame that. So regarding this, I'm going to give you the clarification. So everything is based on my experience, how I personally overcame all these difficulties. So there are like many major difficulties are arising because of the conversion, because of converting from non-veg to vegetarian, there are so much of physical changes should happen, and not only physical level, even mind has to accept the vegetarianism. So both physically and mind wise, there are so much changes are being happening within us. So what are the changes and what are the difficulties we are facing? So all that I'm going to discuss today. The three major difficulties we are facing is, the first one is B12 deficiency. So this everyone would have known, because in spiritual awakening many of them would have converted into vegetarian. So in that they definitely would have come to know that they have the B12 deficiency, and because of B12 deficiency they are facing so much of issues in their life, physically and mentally. So second one is craving. This is another major issue. We would have got that cravings because of that non-veg food. So while converting into vegetarian, still that craving we will have. So how to overcome that craving, how I personally overcame that craving, so I will explain about that. So the third thing is, another major issue is, so while converting from non-veg to vegetarian, we feel that physically we are becoming very weak, we are losing that strength. Mainly if you see, most of the men's would have taken the non-veg so much for the protein, to gain that muscle strength, to build their body, to gain that muscle volume. So for that they would have taken that non-veg intake in a larger volume compared to the women. So mainly men's are facing this. Actually they feel that they're becoming very weak and they're losing that muscle capacity, because that intake of protein is being less. So all these clarification I'm going to give today. So the first thing is B12 issue. So in my life, so when I converted from non-veg to vegetarian, I actually converted in a single day of actually quitting the non-veg from my life and becoming a vegetarian. So since I took the decision very strong, so with my willpower I took it very strongly, I never actually went back to non-vegetarian. So I completely accepted I need to follow only vegetarian the rest of my life. So that's why I never actually went back to actually take a non-veg. So whatever difficulty I faced in my life, I tried to get the solution from the vegetarianism. So I researched a lot how to overcome the difficulties with sattvic and with vegetarian food. So the first major issue I faced in my life was I felt I became very weak. The first major issue was anemic. So I felt that I became anemic. Then after that, all these anxieties, the nervous issues, the depressions, the brain fog, everything was happening simultaneously. If you see, everything is actually interconnected. So vitamin B12, the major, it has so much of functions in our body. So vitamin B12 has so much of major functions in our body. So one of that is it actually generates the red blood count, and another one is it actually generates a DNA. It is actually very important for our nervous system. So overall nervous system functioning, vitamin B12 plays a major role. So then vitamin B12 helps in absorption of oxygen, and it is only very important to actually carry all over our blood circulation. So there are many other importance of vitamin B12. So these are the major importance. So the main thing we feel that we actually feel the numbness. So this is a very main issues. We can feel that numbness in our head, in our hands, in our legs, because of the improper supply of the oxygen. So we can feel that numbness, so nervous issues, memory loss, so lack of concentration, so anxiety issues, depression issues. So this spiritual awakening and this stress, anxiety, everything is connected together. So this corona, this lockdown, what happened is it actually put us to a situation where we have been faced so much of stress in our life. So physically, since we didn't have the physical access, physically we was not active, we actually were very stressful staying at home. So what happened is this stress developed anxiety, depression because of this arised. So this we can relate it to spiritual awakening also. So what is spiritual awakening is, it is actually a science only. So during spiritual awakening, you will understand about the Kundalini and inner engineering. Already I have mentioned about this in my videos. The 7 chakras. So the 7 chakras are the 7 glands in our body. If the 7 glands are the actually the important glands which actually secretes the hormones in our body. Only when the hormone secretions are proper in our body, then only the vitamins and mineral absorption will be in a proper way. So everything is actually interconnected. So you get spiritual awakening because of the stress, anxiety and depression. So because of stress, anxiety and depression, you get the lack of vitamin B12 deficiency. So everything is interconnected. If vitamin B12 is actually reduced, the stress, anxiety and depression will actually increase. So either with the food, with external things, you should actually increase the vitamin B12 in your body so that you can reduce your stress, or you can find another way to reduce the stress level using meditation, yoga, all those things. You can reduce the stress level. Because of the imbalance of the chakras only, you are getting that hormonal issues, the stress issues. So if you are able to channelize the energies properly using the spiritually, if you're able to channelize the energies properly, if you align all the chakras properly, you can actually balance everything. Vitamin B12 will be proper, your stress and your anxiety level will come down. Suppose if you're not going through the spiritual method, there are physical remedies also. So if you're going to go in a very normal way, you can see that your vitamin B12 has been reduced. You can go to the hospital, they will prescribe the medicines. You can take the tablets or injection, or vitamin B12 drops also are there. If you take that also, externally the vitamin B12 will restore in your body. So this is also the normal way you can proceed, so that the anxiety, depressions also will reduce. So what happened in my life is, so initially I have understood that there was an vitamin B12 deficiency in my body. So initially I started to take the tablets. So when I took the tablet, what happened was, I felt that it was a very synthetic way I experienced it. So I almost had this anxiety, depression for a week. So and after that I started to take the tablet. So it actually gave me the temporal relief. That is, morning if I take the tablet, till evening everything will be normal for me. Once that effect was gone, the tablet's effect was gone, again the issues will rise up. So it was like very synthetic for me. It was not a natural. It was not like previously how when I was normal, when I had a proper vitamin B12, I didn't feel that natural thing in my body. So everything was unnatural. Everything was synthetic. So everything like it was dependent on the tablet. So I actually did like that. I didn't like taking the tablet every day. I wanted to depend on the tablet every day. So I also didn't wanted to go back to having non-veg, because the one thing everyone generally tells that vitamin B12 is only abundant in non-vegetarian. So in vegetarian there is not much of vitamin B12, and people who are actually taken that vitamin B12 from non-veg source are actually facing the major issues. But I strongly believe that I have to progress towards my spirituality, and I actually uh, didn't want to go back to take the non-veg. So even if I actually face so much of difficulties in anxiety issues, nervous issues, I didn't want to go back to take the non-veg. I actually wanted to find a solution in sattvic, in vegetarianism, because one logic was, so people who had been vegetarian from their birth actually having their normal life, their vitamin B12 also is actually normal for them. So I actually believe that even taking vegetarian, we can actually manage to access the vitamin B12 vitamins. There was a temporary relief when I was taking the tablets, but I actually wanted to find a natural solution for this. So what I did was, the one thing I started was the yoga and meditation. So before that, never done any yoga or meditation in my life. After this anxiety and nervous issues experience only, I started to do yoga, meditation, and breathing exercise, and immediately within few days, I actually found a major relief within my body. I started to experience that my anxieties and my nervous issues was actually lowering down. So I understood that this thing, natural remedies, this meditation and yoga is actually releasing the stress. So once the stress and anxiety released itself, the thing is your vitamin B12 is going to increase in your body. So I immediately stopped to take the tablets, and I started to actually focus in natural remedy. This I consistently did for almost 1 month. I actually had a major change. So completely I actually came out of that anxiety and nervous issues, and again I came back to that grounded level, and again I'm working towards the higher spirituality in my life. So the next realization is, one realization is meditation, yoga, and breathing exercise. So next realization is sattvic food, the more natural vegetarian food. So like fruit salads, taking in the more of uncooked food in your system. This helped a lot in me. So these two things actually helped me a lot to overcome this deficiency, B12 deficiency. I completely overcame only because of these two things. One is the sattvic fruits and those vegetables, and another one is this meditation, yoga, and breathing exercise. So this is a main remedy, natural remedy I brought into my life, and it should be consistent. So it is not that one day you have to follow. If you're going to leave it again, if you're not going to follow it or not going to be consistent, again the issues may rise up. So it is very important to follow each and every day, to have the sattvic food, to have that meditation, yoga, to bring into their life. Only then you can actually overcome these issues. The second thing is about craving. So of course in non-vegetarian, as we were in non-veg, we would have got so much of craving for the non-veg foods, all those meats, all those non-veg items. So once if you have converted into vegetarian, still the craving would have been there for you, because it is unavoidable. So wherever you see the videos of people around you, only you would have been converted, not your family members. So still that craving will be there, but you should be strong enough to overcome that craving. So slowly only it will happen. So immediately you cannot actually cut all those cravings. So slowly, with your consistency, with your willpower only, you can actually overcome that. Slowly, constantly, if you try to ignore all those cravings, if you focus those cravings in vegetarian, so even vegetarian dishes, there are so much of dishes you can satisfy your cravings. You have to put little effort to actually bring that, satisfy your cravings in vegetarian food. So constantly improving your vegetarian diet, bringing in new sattvic dishes, bringing in new sattvic disciplines into your life. So gradually what will happen is your craving, you will actually completely get over that craving. So this is how I actually overcame my craving. So I strongly believe that I cannot go back to eat non-veg. I strongly believe that in vegetarianism I need to explore more. I need to get my craving satisfied from vegetarian food. So the another thing is, even if you're going to take the vegetarian food, you're going to, if you are going to compel yourself vegetarian food, it is not going to absorb the goodness, and nutrition is not going to absorb in your body. So you should eat vegetarian as you ate the non-veg food. So vegetarian should be the part of your life. You should have that liking to that vegetarian food. You should start to love that vegetarian food. Then only it will actually work in your system. It will you will Your system will start to absorb that nutrition from the vegetarian food. We need to explore so much, find different things in vegetarian to actually satisfy your taste buds, to satisfy your craving, and only then your body and your mind will start to accept those food, and it will start to absorb in your body. So by this way, what will happen is the vitamin deficiency, everything will be subsided, and all those issues, the nervous issues, the anxiety issues, the depression issues, everything will actually subside down. So the third major issue is we feel actually weak, and we feel that we are losing the muscles. So this is because mostly if you see men, they would have taken so much of proteins from non-vegetarian to gain that muscle strength and to gain that muscle capacity in that body. So after becoming vegetarian, what many ones complain is that they are becoming weak and they are losing so much of proteins and muscle from their body. But the true fact is, this is actually just a myth within us. The true fact is, many of them who are in the sports field, or many of them who are in athletic or into that muscle gaining, many of them are actually vegetarian also, many, and they're also following vegetarianism. So definitely there is a prospect to gain back the muscle weight and gain back that protein with the vegetarian food. So properly, when you take the vegetarian food, when you research, and if you see, there are so much of proteins even in the vegetarian also. So if you properly research and take in all those foods, you can definitely gain back the muscle you have lost because of the conversion. So another thing is, there is actually so much of benefits of converting into vegetarian. So personally, I feel that I feel so much of lighter. So when I was in non-vegetarian, I felt that my body was so much of heavier, but now I feel it's so much of light, it's so much of energetic in my body. So I feel more lighter and more energetic when I am actually converted into vegetarian. So personally, I feel that vegetarian, converting into vegetarian, has actually given me so much of benefits only. So definitely becoming a vegetarian, it gives a benefit to your life. Properly following the sattvic, methods and properly following the vegetarian foods, definitely it is not going to be a drawback in your life. It is going to give a higher benefit in your life. So not only that, so becoming a sattvic vegetarianism is mainly because to progress in our spirituality, to progress towards our spiritual life, to understand about our soul and to work towards our soul purpose. This will be satisfied only if you follow the sattvic methods and you properly follow the meditation yoga and you bring in proper discipline in your life. So okay friends, I hope so all these videos were useful for you all. So thank you for watching. So this is Shobna. Bye from Soulful Knowledge.